Hello, YouTube! I'm here back again. And today I want to talk to you about forgiveness and why you should forgive and forget people you don't wanna, why it's good for you, and I will tell you some little bit about my experience with it and how it changed my life for better. So let's get into it. As at the start, I want to tell you something about my own, could say, experience, or rather my own journey with the forgiveness, because it took me a really long time to understand the value of forgiving someone you don't want to forgive. You see, like, my childhood wasn't perfect, and I'm certainly not saying that it was worst fucking ever. I had many uh, good moments, I could say, but there was like, with my parents' divorce, there was lots of shit that went with it, and it wasn't ideal. Okay, like, my both my parents were not like ideal mother and father. They could be a little selfish at times and do lots of stupid shit. So I kind of, as I grew up, I kind of, like, there was lots of stuff that happened around the time of the divorce, and when I was very young, I couldn't do anything about it. I wasn't like full grown adult, and I was only like caught up in this whole fucking situation. So like the fault wasn't mine, and that's even that was even worse because as I grew up and got actually and I grown up into adult, I was actually like blaming lots of my problems on my parents, like almost all of them, like my whole life. And I was really depressed, like at the time, and like basically everything was my parents' fault. So that was the like mindset I used to have around that time. Excuse me, I'll just pour something real quick. Uh, just some tea, don't worry. Yeah, so like that was the mindset I had when growing up around like age 18, from 18 to basically even earlier, like from 16 to fucking 20, something like that. And like, trust me, this blaming of others and my parents, it didn't do me any good. Like, it basically paralyzed me for most of this time period because I I put like this whole like responsibility and control of my life on other people, and when you do that, you basically lose control over it yourself. So you can, if everything is somebody else's fault, then you cannot do anything about it, and you are paralyzed. And that's how it was. I spent like at least almost 5 years like not progressing in my life at all, just doing fucking drugs and doing nothing. I used to I used to actually abuse my mother's instinct to take care of her child. Even though I was adult, I faked, like, I told her that I was working, and even though I wasn't, and I siphoned money from her and used it for doing drugs and fucking drinking with friends. So yeah, that didn't really serve me well, you could say. And it was around this period, around like when I was 20 or 19, I think 18, something like that. when I got when I happened to hmm, happened to happened to come upon Jordan Peterson and his lectures on YouTube, like over the hour, like the lectures that had over an hour, that were hour long, and I used to watch them a lot because it was something that was missing in my life, and I felt it, and I just couldn't. It became like obsession for me. I watched them all the fucking time, and he actually he helped me get out of this fucking like victim mindset by adopting responsibility for yourself by because I remember like really like you could say quote stuck with me one from one of his lectures, and it was like everything that happened to you until you are adult is someone else's fault, but when you when you turn adult, when you turn like yeah, when you turn adult, it's up to you to deal with it, and that really stuck with me or resonated with me very greatly. So like Peterson was at the start of my self improvement journey, you could say, because he really dissected lots of these philosophical works, and I always had a lot of interest in philosophy myself. So his lectures interest me very greatly, and like the message he told you from those stories and those philosophical works, and even from fucking Bible and shit like that, it resonated with me at the time very greatly, and I'm sure I was not the only one because yeah, wait, because at the time I noticed that like there are lots of people like me, like that had not real role models because my father I kind of like not hated him, but I didn't respect him enough at the time. Only later. Oh shit! Sorry, a little bit fuck up in my setup. Sorry about that. Yeah, so because I didn't really have real role model, you could say, because I didn't, which was actually my fault because I didn't give my father enough respect, and I didn't respect him enough to for him to be my model. And I'm sure there were lots of guys like that, and there are still lots of guys like that. So that's why I want to mention that like Jordan Peterson really helped me with that, like with my whole you could say with forming of my own personal and my own life philosophy. So it was the start. But what really struck with me is the thing that you should take control of your life back, and I did that basically by forgiving and forgetting all my parents' mistakes they made about around about my upbringing, my like upbringing. Yeah, that's the word. And when I did that, I could actually start to focus on my life and bettering my life because you would not believe how much of energy you put into holding grudges. It's actually pretty insane. Like when you forgive and forget someone you that you hate really much or that you thought you hate very much, it's like so it's like fucking heavy boulder just just flew off from your back. You feel so light all of a sudden. You feel like you can actually focus on something else. You are not like this. Fuck. Yeah. You are not like obsessed with this hatred for someone, and it frees you. It's really freeing feeling, you could say. And one thing really helped me greatly, and that was for various reasons I had to actually live with my grandmother for a while, like for a few years actually. In when I was underage, it was around like from my fir- 13 or 12 to 15, something like that. I had to live with my grandmother, and I actually get to know how what my mother had to deal with, and it like my grandma, Budiši země lehká, she was a really hard-headed woman, you could say. She had to always had her way, or like nothing happened. Like you could not reason with her, you could not like make compromise with her, because it was only her way or highway. So I kind of experienced that for a few years, and I actually ran away from her to my father when I was around 16 or 15, I think. So I actually get to experience what my mother grew up in, and it helped me to like sympathize with her way better and forgive her, because I realized then that my parents are only people. Like they are not some fucking superhumans that are perfect in every way. They are people that have their own problems and their own traumas caused by their own parents. So when you realize that, it's actually way easier to forgive your parents' mistakes and just forgive and forget your parents' mistakes and just get on with your life. Yeah. So that like realization helped me very greatly. I'm really sorry about the fucking setup. Yeah, it should be better now. Yeah, that's like the one of the last thoughts I want you to think about. Also, like always remember that you can forgive anybody anytime by yourself. You don't need anybody else for it. It's way easier to forgive someone than to like solve try to solve the problems, and because you need another person for it, and if the another person is not cooperative, it's really hard actually, like yeah. But it's always easier to let go of your anger and hatred towards someone and just say, yeah, I forgive you. And you actually do it not for them but for yourself, because living with your hatred and anger, it actually like destroys your brain and your mind over time. Trust me, I know it. I lived with my hatred and anger towards lots of people for many years, and it didn't do me any good. It was like basically slow suicide, because you have like this negative emotions in your mind for all the times, and that affects you physically too, because brain affects body and body affects brain. So think about it this way: you should forgive people just for yourself and for your healthy mental state and physical state. So yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to say for this video. If you enjoyed it, I'm glad. You can fucking subscribe, like, and everything, every shit like that. And have a nice day, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.